Adobe Creative Suite 4 Design Premium enables you to deliver innovative ideas through print, web, and mobile design, as well as through cross-media workflows where design assets within a single campaign are published across multiple mediums. In this short overview, we'll explore a few workflows that will focus on some of the new integration and feature capabilities found in CS4. In a print workflow, you might start in Adobe Illustrator CS4, which now features the ability to contain multiple artboards. As is the case in this example, each artboard within a single document can have different dimensions, making it possible to manage multiple assets across an entire campaign. And while it's easy to generate multiple page PDF files right out of Illustrator, you can also choose to print each of these artboards individually on a separate page. The print preview here in the print dialog box allows you to see that. Of course, you could also bring content directly from Illustrator into a layout inside of InDesign, and that's certainly the case when you're using multiple artboards. Let's take a look at a layout here inside of InDesign. I have a spread of a magazine, and I have an area here which I've identified where I want to place that graphic. I'll place that native Illustrator file and make sure that the Show Import Options button is checked. In this way, when I click on the Open button, I'll get a dialog box that will allow me to actually preview the multiple artboards within that Illustrator file. I'll choose the first artboard, click OK, and now that piece of artwork that I created inside of Illustrator appears directly inside of my layout. One of the challenges of designing for print is ensuring that your document has all the correct settings before you send it off to the printer. InDesign CS4 helps with a brand new feature called Live Preflight. If I look at the bottom of my document, an indicator informs me that I have one error in my document. I'll open up my Preflight panel, and I'll see that this document currently has a profile applied to it. This profile is checking to make sure that I have the right number of colors in my document. I can either define my own profiles for Preflight, or a printer can supply me with their Preflight profiles. In this case here, I'll see exactly what this error is by clicking here. It says I currently have the incorrect number of spot colors. By clicking on the error and going to the info section here, I can see that the current number of spot colors in my document is 20, but this document requires 0 spot colors. To correct this change, I'll go to the Swatches panel flyout menu and choose the Ink Manager, which allows me to convert all of my spots to process. When I click OK, I'll see that right away the Live Preflight is now checking that and tells me now that there are no errors in my document. This ensures that I'm ready to go to print. I'll close the Preflight panel, and before I'm ready to go to print, I just want to make sure that my client is okay with the last-minute changes that we've made. Rather than generate a PDF file and send it out via email, I'll use a new service that Adobe offers called Share My Screen. This is a feature that's available not only inside of InDesign, but in other Creative Suite applications as well. This service, called Adobe Connect Now, is free and allows me to interact with other people directly through a web browser. Once I've started sharing my screen, I could chat with my client and wait for a response. Once I get approval from the client, I can stop my screen sharing and send it off to the printer. But it doesn't end with just print. InDesign CS4 also has the ability to publish interactive documents using Flash. And there are actually two ways to make that happen. To publish Flash directly out of InDesign, you can go to the File menu, choose Export, and specify SWF as your format. But to really take full advantage of what Flash has to offer, you can go to the File menu, choose that same command, Export, but instead of SWF, export your document using Adobe Flash CS4 Pro or XFL. When you choose this option and you click on the Save button, a dialog box occurs which actually converts all of your InDesign text to Flash text. This allows designers to preserve the integrity and high quality of text-heavy designs within Flash itself and even make late-stage edits as necessary. Once you've exported your XFL file from InDesign, you can switch over to Flash. Simply choose File, Open, choose the XFL file, and click on the Open button. And the entire layout is brought directly into Flash. Not only is each page from your InDesign document converted to a frame on the timeline, if you zoom in on the text, you'll see that the integrity of that text is maintained. Once you're in Flash, the new object-based animation model in Flash CS4 makes it easier than ever to animate your artwork. More importantly, motion attributes can be saved and applied using motion presets, allowing you to literally animate with a single click of a button. In a web design workflow, you really want the best of both worlds. You want the design applications that you're already familiar with, for example, Photoshop and Illustrator. At the same time, you also want to take advantage of the latest web technologies and standards, such as CSS. Design Premium makes this a reality. For example, here in Fireworks, I can integrate native Photoshop and Illustrator content to lay out a web page. And instead of relying on JPEG files for client reviews, I can easily export a PDF file directly from Fireworks. But with Design Premium, it's more than just design, it's also workflow. For example, this image right here is currently set as a foreground image. In the Properties panel, I can specify that this image be a background image, which uses CSS. When I bring this design into Dreamweaver, those areas will now be identified as divs. In fact, let's see how Dreamweaver allows us to take this to the next level. So I've taken the web page that I've designed inside of Fireworks and brought it here directly into Dreamweaver CS4. I could use the new Live View feature to get a better idea of what my page is going to look like when rendered inside of a web browser. But for now, let's focus on this white area on the top of my page. This is a blank space where I'd like to place an ad banner. I'll go to the Insert menu and choose Image. Now in the past, I may have had to choose a GIF or a JPEG here, but now inside of Dreamweaver CS4, I have the ability to integrate native Photoshop documents or PSD files. I'll click on the Choose button, and a window shows up called Image Preview. This allows me to specify the optimization settings for that PSD file, whether it should be a GIF or a JPEG or even a pin graphic. In this case, I'll just choose JPEG and click OK, and now that file will drop right into that layout in the position that I specified. But if you take a close look, in the upper left-hand corner, there's an icon here that identifies the images as being synced. That means that the native PSD file, the original file, and the JPEG that was created are now exactly the same. But let's say I needed to make a change. Maybe I needed to make an edit to that particular image. I'll go down here in the Properties panel and click on this button here to edit that Photoshop file. This opens the original native PSD file directly inside of Photoshop. I can use the new Adjustments panel inside of Photoshop to make some changes to this image. For example, maybe I'll choose a hue and saturation preset, like this one right here. I'll save the file in Photoshop and go right back into Dreamweaver. Now if I mouse over the icon on this part of the image here, it tells me that the original asset has been modified. This is a great feature which allows designers and developers to work together with each other. In this way, the developer is alerted that the designer maybe has made a change. If I want the image to update, I can right-click on the image and choose Update from Original. In doing so, the image now is correct. Once more, I'll use the Live View setting to preview exactly how my page is going to look. Adobe Device Central is a powerful component found in Design Premium, offering an online library of device profiles. You can use Device Central to start off by creating a flash file. Say you want to create a flash file that will work on a particular range of devices, for example, maybe all different Nokia phones. You can see all the settings for each of these phones and automatically generate a new document that has all those settings already built in and get ready to go. Now in our example here, I already have a document that's been created that is set up for mobile. I can go ahead and I can test that movie and make sure it works correctly on devices as well. For example, I come over here and view this on a generic Flashlight 3.0 device, and I'll see what that particular content and be able to preview what that content looks like on a mobile device. I can interact with this. For example, I can click on these little buttons here and actually navigate through the phone. Let me go ahead here and choose to go to the View the Trailer option here, and I can choose to actually preview high-quality H.264 video content directly on a mobile device. One of the great things about working with Device Central also is its automated capabilities for testing. For example, I have some tests over here that have already been predefined. I can choose here 1 snapshot per second and choose to play that. And that's simply going to go ahead now and choose to play that content. I'll choose stop right now, and I'll see a range of snapshots that were taken every second while that's playing. So as you can see now, those graphics are kind of coming into the screen that way. And I can use this to basically automate my testing and make sure that my content looks correct on a range of multiple devices. One of the great things about working with Device Central also is that you'll always have up-to-date information about your devices with the online library. As I can scroll through here, for example, I can take a look at all these different devices, and this is constantly being updated, and add them to my local library so that I can use them for testing my content. As you've seen, Adobe Creative Suite 4 Design Premium offers tools that enable designers to break new creative ground, from print layouts to web pages, mobile devices, and more.